A very good morning to all my dear students. Now, students, today we are going to begin with a very beautiful poem, and the name of the poem is The Education of Nature, written by William Wordsworth. So, first, let us know about the poet William Wordsworth. He was born in the year 1770 and he died in the year 1850. He was brought up in Cumberland. His parents died in his childhood. He took his degree in 1791. He had a great love for nature, so nature became his guide, philosopher, and friend for all time to come. The poem The Education of Nature is one of William Wordsworth's five Lucy poems. Lucy is a lovely creation of the poet's imagination. She is the child of nature, sweet, innocent, and heavenly. She is a symbol of spiritual beauty, moral consolation, and peace of heart. In this poem, The Education of Nature, Wordsworth writes about Lucy, the character who represents his daughter Catherine. She died at the age of 3 in the year 1812. Wordsworth grieves, but not beyond hope. He writes this poem about Lucy. Perhaps it was too painful to use Catherine's name, but the education of nature quickly reveals that it is Catherine whom Wordsworth thinks about while writing this piece. In this poem, the poet Wordsworth describes his love for nature. Lucy is the lovely creation of the poet's imagination. She grew in the lap of nature. Her personality and character are molded by nature. Nature has made Lucy sweet, innocent, and heavenly. But Lucy died very soon. Thus, the poet's source of inspiration has gone forever. The Education of Nature, written by William Wordsworth. 3 years she grew in sun and shower. Then nature said, a lovelier flower on earth was never sown. This child I to myself will take. She shall be mine, and I will make a lady of my own. Myself will to my darling be both law and impulse, and with me the girl in rock and plain, in earth and heaven, in glade and bower, shall feel an overseeing power to kindle or restrain. She shall be sportive as the fawn that wilds with glee across the lawn, or up the mountain springs, and hers shall be the breathing balm, and hers the silence and the calm of mute, insensate things. The floating clouds their state shall lend to her, for her the willow bend, nor shall she fail to see, even in the motions of the storm, grace that shall mold the maiden's form by silent sympathy. The stars of midnight shall be dear to her, and she shall lean her ear in many a secret place where rivulets dance their wayward round, and beauty born of murmuring sound shall pass into her face, and vital feelings of delight shall rear her form to stately height. Her virgin bosom swell, such thoughts to Lucy I will give, while she and I together live here in this happy dale. Thus nature spake, the work was done. How soon my Lucy's race was run! She died, and left to me this heath, this calm and quiet scene, the memory of what has been and nevermore will be. In the first stanza, the speaker lets the reader identify with Lucy. It is not hard to imagine a lively young 3-year-old playing in the sun or in the rain, but she was too lovely for earth, or so nature decided. The speaker suggests that nature has taken the child for herself because she was too beautiful for the earth. In the second stanza, the speaker shifts to thoughts of himself. He can easily see how nature wanted this little girl for herself, lovely as she was. But he himself would need to respond to this loss when he says that he will be both law and impulse. He implies that he will react in the way he is expected to react and do the things he is expected to do. But he would not react without impulse. He would give way to his feelings and allow grief to have its way in his heart. He implies that as he walks the earth and as he looks into the heavens, he will feel her presence as an overseeing power, and he reveals that he will either kindle that feeling or restrain it, probably depending upon the time and circumstances in which this feeling arises. Now, students, in the third stanza, the speaker shifts tones once again in order to focus on her. Now, here, her means Lucy. He has explained what this loss means to nature and to himself. But what does it mean for Lucy? He finds his comfort in this. Lucy is symbolic of Wordsworth's daughter Catherine, who died of polio. The speaker believes that Lucy will be sportive as the fawn and able to run across the lawn. Now, students, fawn means a young deer and lawn means an area of grass that is kept cut short and is usually part of someone's garden or backyard or part of a park. As she was wild with glee. Now, students, glee here means happiness. He believes that, contrary to her limited physical ability on earth, in her new place, she would be able to enjoy running wild as a fawn. She would also enjoy the silence and the calm. The speaker finds comfort in this idea. In the fourth stanza, the speaker continues to imagine what Lucy is now doing. He imagines her floating on clouds and watching those on earth. He imagines that she should never fail to see the silent sympathy he feels for her. Now, students, in the fifth stanza, the speaker imagines that Lucy shall be dear even to stars. He imagines that she is enjoying her existence as she moves about in the night, being loved by the stars and all the heavenly beings. Now, students, in the sixth stanza, the speaker reveals his belief that although Lucy is no longer alive in earthly terms, she will still experience vital feelings of delight as she grows up into her stately height and into maturity. The imagery of her rearing her form to stately height and of her virgin bosom swelling reveal his belief that wherever she is, wherever nature has taken her, she will continue to grow up there with all feelings of life and vitality. He vows to give these thoughts to Lucy daily so that even though she exists in a different realm than he, they would still together live here in this happy dale. In this final stanza, the speaker refers back to nature. Nature is the authority in this situation, and she has said that the work was done and Lucy was no longer needed on earth. The speaker mourns over this, but he doesn't resent it. He exclaims, "How soon my Lucy's race was run!" And he clearly grieving when he said, "She died and left to me this heat, this calm and quiet scene." Now, students, this reveals that Lucy's absence in his life is felt deeply. The absence of a love is painfully noticeable, and he is left only with memories of the past. Although the stanzas leading up to this final one speak of Lucy living a vital and fulfilling eternity, the speaker chooses to end the education of nature with the grief that he feels in knowing that what has been never more will be. To end this poem in grief, even though all comforting words were spoken and acknowledged, is to be real and tangible to readers. Anyone who has experienced loss knows that all hope of an afterlife and all words of comfort cannot change the empty feeling and knowledge that what once was is now changed forever. With this poem, Wordsworth offers hope and comfort, yet he does not deny the unending grief. For this reason, the education of nature relates with many who have suffered loss. For Wordsworth reveals that he suffers too, and it that there is some comfort for readers because they feel they are not alone.